Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Command Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the worst staples in Commander, these cards that see, in my opinion, too much play, and what you should be playing instead. Let's jump into it. So first up, and these numbers might seem ridiculous, but they are actual numbers on EDH Rec. Solemn Simulacrum sees play in 781,701 decks. That is insane. I mean, it is just a crazy number to wrap your head around, and I'm not saying that any of these are bad cards. I am not saying that Sad Robot is a bad card. I'm saying that it should not be seeing play in 14% of all Commander decks out there, because again, this one, of course, is eligible to play in any deck. It's a 2/2 artifact creature golem for 4 mana. When it enters, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. When this creature dies, you may draw a card. Here's my issue with Sad Robot, okay? It is great in decks that it is meant to be in. The problem is that, well, there are certain times when players build decks and they just think, okay, yeah, ramp, chuck it in that deck. Yeah, just chuck it in the, it's a ramp card. Go chuck it in the deck. Yeah, it's just a ramp card you should always have in your deck. Oh, and by the way, it also kind of gives you card draw too. So maybe I'm actually doing both, and then I can just eliminate ramp and a card draw card, from the deck, and I just utilize this instead. This is a card that is already, alright, I'm just gonna be honest with the card, inefficient. It is a very inefficient ramp spell. It really just is. Unless you can take advantage of it in a couple different ways. 4 mana for an ETB that gets you a basic land into play tapped, that is not worth it at all. Even, yes, if you do get to draw the card, and that card draw is on delay. That's not worth it. When it comes to ramp, typically you want to be, well, first of all, lower, but you also want to be more efficient than that. You want the mana value to be lower that you're paying. Again, like a rampant growth, 2, go get 1 land, perfect. That's what you should be shooting for. This is not that. There are, of course, opportunities where this card can really shine. Are you in a blink deck? Are you in a deck that uses and abuses ETBs? Are you in a deck that can utilize death triggers and really use and abuse those? Are you in a deck that can reduce the cost of artifacts potentially, or just you want more artifacts in play? Those kinds of decks absolutely can utilize this card to its full effect and be great. The problem is that a lot of decks out there that are just like, okay, well, I'm not in green, but like I need land ramp because that's what you're supposed to do, so therefore I utilize this. That's not actually the answer, in my opinion. You need to be more efficient when it comes to your ramp. And yeah, okay, if you are in white, awesome. You've got things like Knight of the White Orchid, much more efficient. A 2/2 for a 2 mana first strike, enters the battlefield if opponent controls more lands than you, which again, if you're not in green, they probably do. Search your library for a plains, put it on the battlefield. Does not say tapped, untapped. Then shuffle your library. This is a fantastic card for a series of ramp. Then we've got Loyal Warhound, a 3/1 with Vigilant, enters if opponent controls more lands than you. Go get a basic plains, put a battlefield taps. This one does come to play tap, but again, a 3/1 Vigilant Dog. Very cool. Again, half the cost of getting it out of the Sad Robot. Sure, you don't get the card draw, but you know what? Is it really worth the extra 2 mana to draw 1 card? Are you running a bunch of 2 mana cantrips that do nothing else in your deck? No. So unless you've got ways to use and abuse the ETB or the LTB, I would, utilize something like this instead. Or how about Claim Jumper, a newer card, 3/3 Rabbit Mercenary with Vigilance for 3 mana in white. When it enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you may search live for a plains card, put on the battlefield tapped. Then if an opponent controls more lands than you, repeat this process once. If you search live this way, shuffle. Again, when it says plains card, it's not just a basic for this one either. So yeah, if you've got any of the, Shocklands or the Tries, there you go. Go get those. But also with this, again, hey, you get potentially 2 lands for the price of 3 mana versus 1 land for the price of 4 with Sad Robot. So, yes, in white, there are better options. And, of course, maybe I should have started with this one and said, first up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble. Yeah, strictly better than Sad Robot, sorry. Artifact for 1, pay 2, tap, sacrifice, go get a basic land in a play tap. Basically allows any deck out there, no matter what your color combination is, to have a rampant growth on turn 2, essentially. So there you go. And with any combination of lands that don't enter the battlefield tapped, I should say, just regular lands. That being said, of course, any mana rock. Again, literally mana rocks that are much more efficient, like, say, Fellwar Stone is, already a card that sees a ton of play, but just as an example, 2 mana, taps for 1. This one typically will give you your colors. Add 1 mana of any color that land opponent controls could produce. Okay, so it typically gives you your colors. And again, it costs half the amount. It is much more efficient. Instead of waiting till turn 4 to actually get ahead of your opponents when it comes to ramp, you're getting ahead earlier. Yes, it is less safe ramp. I agree. And I have very much so in many episodes said, you know what? Land ramp is obviously superior to mana rocks. That being said, you gotta balance in the amount of efficiency that you have. Land ramp is more efficient, but again, if you're not in green, you don't have a lot of efficient land ramp outside of like Wayfarer's Bauble. So yeah, don't try to force something if it's not working versus utilizing the better option when it comes to efficiency. How about again, when it comes to efficiency, like Hedron Archive costs the exact same amount at 4. This one taps for 2 versus, I mean, technically the land tapping for 1. If you're not in a ton of colors, you can get away with having like utility mana rocks that tap for colorless mana, essentially. You can also pay 2 tap, sacrifice, draw 2 cards as well. So when you actually need those cards, you can utilize it whenever you have the mana to do so. Versus Sad Robot, I mean, how many times have you been at the table like, will you block my Sad Robot? No? Will you block? Will you swing at me so this can die? I need to draw a card. Okay. Efficiency as well. Worn Power Stone also costs less. Enters battlefield tap, but taps for 2 versus 1. Even Marble Diamond, again, yes, it is slow. Enters tapped, taps for a, again, there's different diamonds, obviously, one of each of the colors. But again, getting out there and being able to ramp so that on turn 3, you have 4 mana versus, again, waiting, twiddling your thumbs and being like, all right, my ramp is at turn 4. I'll get there eventually. Don't worry. You're going to be too late. Everflowing Chalice, the other great one. It's flexible. So, yes, there are plenty of decks out there. I'm not saying do not play this card. I am not saying that at all. I am saying it is overplayed. It is way overplayed. It is a card that essentially players just, again, when they're building a deck, like, oh yeah, just grab those, throw them in there because it's a ramp spell, and like, land ramp's always better, and I'm not in green, so like, I need to utilize it. Yeah, that's not always the answer. Utilize efficient ramp. Use this when it is, well, when it makes sense, essentially. When you have, again, those decks that are blink decks. When you have those decks, essentially, that are ETB abuse decks. When it comes to decks that are abusing death triggers as well. When it comes to decks that can take advantage of this being an artifact creature. There's plenty of opportunities to utilize it. It's not just a blanket, utilize it everywhere kind of a card. And right now, again, it sees play in over 780,000 decks. That's an insane number, and there are better options than it. Next up, this might be heresy, but yeah, Eternal Witness, you made the list. You are a crazy good card. Again, like Sad Robot, very effective for the right deck out there. At this point, though, you are being overplayed. 525,000 decks out there. That being said, a higher percentage of eligible decks, because, again, it is a green card, so yeah, it can't fit into decks that don't have green. 20% of eligible decks utilize it, so more than Sad Robot percentage-wise, less than the total number of decks. That being said, it is a solid card, absolutely. It's just a card that is overplayed, in my opinion. It is a staple that shouldn't necessarily be a staple in this amount. A 2/1 Human Shaman for 3 mana in green. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Cool. Okay. That's great. When you can utilize that ETB. Or if you have a human deck or a shaman deck, sure. Or if you've got an all creatures deck or whatnot, sure. But when you're just like, okay, I need to include this in the deck because it's such a good card, everyone else is playing it, I should just do the exact same thing. No. Stop and think for a second what you want to do with this card. What is the purpose of the card? Do you have a way to use and abuse this ETB? No? Okay, well then you probably have a lot better options than this, and cards that are, in my opinion, strictly better than it, that see less play. For whatever reason, again, because I think sometimes when a card just gets like up in like the list on EDH Rec, players are like, well, I have to utilize it. It's utilized in so decks. It must be so good. If you don't have a way to utilize that ETB, is it worth paying the extra mana to have a 2/1 blocker or attacker or whatnot? Maybe for some decks, sure, but not for the vast majority of decks essentially out there. It's not worth paying extra mana when you don't have to, when you can utilize the original from Alpha, which literally, again, until this year, we haven't had like a better version of, and like in green, there really isn't a better version of, Regrowth. Sorcery for 2 mana in green. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It's cheaper, it sees less play currently, and I'm telling you, it shouldn't. There aren't, the difference between these two cards isn't like the amount of decks that like have ETB abuse, essentially, for Eternal Witness, essentially, or human decks or shaman decks or whatnot. This card, in my opinion, is strictly better if you're just looking at, a generic deck, a standard deck, a regular deck, not standard, when it comes to commander deck, but when it comes to a standard commander deck, there we go. This card is strictly better. It costs less. It just costs less. Paying 2 mana instead of 3, unless you've got ways to use and abuse that ETB. If your deck has no ways to do that, or just very few ways that you're not going to get to pretty much, or you don't care about a human or a shaman, this one is just better. It's easier to cast. and it just costs 2 versus 3, less pips as well. But the amount of decks that I've seen with Eternal Witness in it compared to Regrowth is better. And again, it's the OG. It just is better. We also have gotten other great cards in the more recent years, essentially, when it comes to ones that you can actually utilize, like, say, Wildest Dreams, a fantastic card as well. Sorcery for XX in a green, return X art cards from your graveyard to your hand, exile Wildest Dreams. This, again, if you don't, all things considered, all right, just for a regular deck that's not using and abusing ETBs, where yes, I will agree that, yeah, Eternal Witness is amazing for those decks. This one is, in my opinion, again, just strictly better. At the very least, sure, you're just paying, okay, the exact same amount. Easier for you to cast, though, essentially, to get one card if you're paying the exact same amount. And it would be worse, in general, yes, than just getting a 2-1 in addition, okay? I don't disagree with that. But in the case that you're like, oh, I've got multiple cards I want to get back, okay, pay 5, get 2, pay 7, get 3, etc., etc., etc. I'm in green, I've got a lot of mana. Yeah, this card is just so much better than Eternal Witness. Versus like, okay, well, I got Eternal Witness, I played it, I got a card in my graveyard, and hopefully I get to one of my very few ETB abuse cards, essentially, to get that effect again. But this one just like, oh, do you have extra mana? You get the effect. You get more than one card back. How about one more mana as well? How about a card like Healing Technique? Now, this card isn't for every deck, I will say, too. Sorcerer, 4 mana, Demonstrate, so when you cast it, you can copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Players choose their targets the copies. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain life equal to that card's mana value. Exile this. Now, this is one where, yeah, I've actually never really run into an opportunity where I'm not, like, okay making a deal with someone to copy it and give them that. I've never, like, just cast this for 4 and been like, well, I just got one card back for 4. You gain some life, too, which is nice. But, yeah, this is 4 mana, typically. You get 2 things back. You make a deal with an opponent that, hey, and that can actually help you, too, like, in a situation where, oh, we need a Wrath? I don't have a Wrath in my graveyard. Does anyone have a Wrath in their graveyard? Oh, you do? Cool. All right. I'll demonstrate this. You get that Wrath back, and then you wipe the board so we can actually clear off that other player's board, which needs to be done. You make deals like that. You politic. You say, okay, what kind of a favor can you give me? All right. If I let you copy this spell, all right, you pick, whatever your best creature is, that creature can't attack me because you wouldn't be able to get it back anyways without me. Okay, so making deals like that can be amazing, but again, you're paying 4 mana to get 2 things back and gaining a lot of life potentially versus paying 3 mana to get 1 thing back, and if you don't have a way to use and abuse that ETB, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll pay the extra 1 mana. Once in future, another similar card as well. This one, instant speed, actually, for 4 mana. Turn target card for your graveyard to your hand, and put one other card from your graveyard on top of your library. Exile, but if you spend 3 mana to cast it, instead return those cards to your hand and exile this. Again, yes, I mean, this one more so for like 1 or 2 color decks probably, but yeah, if you can use that 3 green mana for instant speed 4 mana, get 2 things back to your hand, that can be game changing and even game ending. Or if you're okay with a more specific type of card, how about Peerless Recycling? Instant for 2 mana, gift a card. Yeah, you gotta give up something, but again, hey, let's make a deal. You can be good at making deals. Utilize that politicking, okay? You can get something out of it, essentially. Turn target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. If the gift was promised instead, 2 instead. Again, instant speed, regrowth, yes, specifically for permanence. So again, not for every kind of deck out there, not ones that want to get back instant sorceries, but permanence. Yeah, there's plenty of decks out there that meet that requirement that Eternal Witness is already in. And this can get you 2 instead of 1, and you're giving up a card to do so, but again, you can utilize that as a deal, and you're doing this at instant speed. How about Bygone Marvels? Descend 8 when you cast. If there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, copy it twice to search the copy. Turn target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, exile it. Literally, this is like 2 mana regrowth, basically, specifically for, again, 1 permanent. Or again, if you meet that requirement, if you're in a deck that is self-mill, this is amazing. Get 3 things back for just 2 mana. My goodness. Road to Return, another great option too. Again, if you're permanent specific, choose one. Bring a permanent card back from your graveyard to your hand, or put your commander into your hand from the command zone, or entwine it and get both. Again, you want to get around those commander taxes? Cool. Get the commander back to your hand if you need that option. You happen on a Glade. Again, you get another flexible card. 3 mana instant speed. You can either get 1 permanent card back from your graveyard to your hand. Again, not the most efficient thing, but you do have another option in case you need that one instead. Do you get that option with Eternal Witness? No, you don't. Search the library for the 2 basic land cards available and put in your hand, then shuffle. Again, for the right deck, there are better additions. Again, Seeds of Renewal, an amazing one as well. One that I think is very underplayed. Sorcery for 7 mana, but it's not 7 mana. Costs 1 less gas for each opponent, so yeah, in Commander, it's going to be, what, 4 mana? Bring 2 cards back from your graveyard to your hand, exile this. Again, no restrictions on what kind of those cards have to be. And again, I guess if you're playing in more than a pot of 4, it's even less. There you go, good for you. But it's also a card that you can take advantage of. It's like, oh, okay, a deck that likes to play like high converted mana cost things gives you benefits for that as well. Again, Eternal Witness is not a bad card, but exactly like Sad Robot, it's gotten to the point where like it's just like, oh yeah, it's all including green, it's such a good card. It's a solid card. I'm gonna ask you a question again. Are you in a human deck? Are you in a shaman deck? Do you really care about just having all the creatures in play, essentially? Okay, do you care about that? Or how about, most importantly, can you use and abuse this ETB? If the answer is no, then why are you using it? There are better options out there when it comes to getting cards back in your hand, including, again, the OG, what this is based off of, Regrowth. It's just strictly better for the vast majority of decks out there that are using it. Go pick it up. Next up, okay, here we go. I promise, I think I promised that we're going to be done with the ETB creatures after this, but for a similar reason, Reclamation Sage, yeah, you made the list. 268,000 decks to this name. 10% of eligible decks out there, essentially, are utilizing Reclamation Sage, and I'm telling you right now, that is too many. A 2/1 Elf Shaman for 3 mana enters. You may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Again, are you in an elf deck? Cool. There's a lot of elf decks out there. So obviously, it can be a good including that. Shaman deck? Sure. Cool. Good for you. Can you use and abuse that ETB? If the answer is no, exact same reasoning behind there are better cards out there that do the exact same thing, but better than this. Paying 3 mana to destroy either an artifact or an enchantment is not the best thing in the world. There are more efficient ways to do so, and getting a 2/1 instead of paying less mana is not worth it. There are even better creatures out there that do this, in my opinion. Haywire Might, a fantastic card. A 1/1 insect. When it dies, you gain 2 life. It costs a single mana. Also pay a single green mana, sacrifice it, exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. The vast majority of the time, when you are taking out an artifact or enchantment, I mean, go ahead, next time you play, just take a notebook off to the side or whatever, tally marks. Anytime players have like a destroy artifact or enchantment spell, what are they targeting? Typically non-creatures. Is it nice to have the additional, selection for Reclamation Sage? Sure. But it's also nice to be able to exile them so your opponent can never get them back, essentially, right? And also just get around indestructible, etc., etc. So yeah, there you go. Strictly better, in my opinion. Again, for most decks, not for the decks that utilize ETBs. Obviously, it is better. Reclamation Sage is better in those. That being said, Insidious Fungus, another great new card to pick from. A 1/2 fungus for a single mana. Again, get this out for just 1 mana. Utilize mana later for it. Pay 2, sacrifice it, choose 1. Destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, draw a card, then you may put a card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. This is flexible. This is, okay, get it out there, destroy something when you need to. It's a nice little thing to get out early, obviously. But of course, if you don't need to do that, if there's no threats on the board and you've got extra mana just waiting before your turn, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll activate this, draw a card, and then, basically, Growth Spiral, essentially, on my opponent's turn. There you go. Congratulations. You just ramped on an opponent's turn, and you drew a card as well, instead of Reclamation Sage, like, oh, yeah, it comes into play. I guess I've got to destroy something, because I've got, the mana that I just spent on this, and, I have nothing else to spend on this turn, so, okay, I guess, yeah, whatever, your Soul Ring. Hey! I mean, Soul Ring would be a good target, but still. Sometimes you just end up destroying something small not to upset players. Canker Bloom. Okay, another great, 3/2 for just 2 mana. Okay, there you go. Also pay 1, sacrifice it, choose 1, destroy an artifact or enchantment or proliferate. Again, very relevant third option for you. Again, it stays in play. It can be a good deterrent. That is something else with these where it's like, okay, it's something in play. This can actually deter opponents from playing certain things. If they know you have this in play, and they've got oh, I've got Smothering Tithe. Oh, but that player's got Cankerbloom in play, and that would be a huge target for them to take out. So yeah, instead of just wasting the ETB with Reclamation Sage, you can just keep this in play and utilize it when you need to. Mass Vandal, a great ETB. 1/3 Shapeshifter with Changeling for 2 mana. Enters the battlefield. You may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. This one is more relevant when it comes to tribal decks as well, because it is a changeling and fit in anyone, except for, just elves and, shaman that Reclamation Sage can fit in. This fits in those and then more as well. On top of that, yeah, as long as you can consistently have creatures in your graveyard, this is going to be absolutely a better effect. It is just, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, exile that. It's gone permanently. Also, this is 2 mana versus 3. There you go. Outland Liberator, a 2/2 human werewolf for 2 mana. You can pay 1 to sacrifice it, destroy an artifact or enchantment. Again, the exact same cost as, again, Reclamation Sage, basically, again, for 3 mana in total. That being said, Daybound, this flips over when it becomes night. It does, and it turns into Frenzied Trapbreaker, which says, hey, I'm a 3/3 now. By the way, when I attack, I destroy target artifact or enchantment, so this is repeat removal potentially, and also you can still pay to sacrifice it. So yeah, even if you're not going to survive in combat, you're like, all right, swing at you, take that out, sacrifice this, take that out too. I just took out 2 things instead of 1 with Rex Sage. Or how about, yeah, Druid of Purification, a 2/3 human Druid for 4 mana. Oh no, you paid 1 more mana. It's better. When this creature enters, starting with you, each player may choose an artifact or enchantment you don't control. Destroy each permanent chosen this way. Yeah, this can lead to plays where it's like, okay, ETB, and all of a sudden I wiped out 4 things instead of just 1. Yeah, that's worth that extra 1 mana, of course. I mean, yeah, when it comes to, like, other spells, too, Nature's Claim already sees a ton of play. It's amazing, obviously. But, hey, most times when you're taking out an artifact or enchantment, it costs 2. This one's kind of a cheat code at 1. It gives someone 4 life. Who cares about life in Commander? Yeah, it's fine. Pick your poison, though. Another good 1 mana spell to consider. Sorcery for 1. Choose 1. Each opponent sacrifice an artifact or an enchantment. Each one sacrifice a creature with flying. This is a good card for, hey, you know what? Let's wipe out a bunch of things for a cheap amount of mana. You might not be able to get exactly what you want to get, but early on you definitely can. And again, it's cheaper and you get more things out of it. Collective Resistance. This one is huge. Instant for 2 mana. Escalate for a single green mana. Choose 1 or more to start artifact, enchantment, or target creature gains Hexproof and indestructible of turn. This can destroy multiple things and also protect something as well. Or if you just want to destroy 1 thing and protect something, it costs less than Reclamation Sage. It is just, in my opinion, again, strictly better unless you've got a deck with ETBs. Heritage Reclamation, another new one, a brand new one. Choose 1 to destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, or exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, draw a card. This is literally just, hey, do you not need those? Okay, cool, like, cycle it away while also doing something relevant by exiling a card out of a graveyard, too. So that is absolutely huge. Return to Nature, very good card. Choose to destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, or exile a card from a graveyard. See so much play. Yeah, Heritage Reclamation is just an improved version of this, basically. Seal Primordium. Put this in play, and again, it's just a free way that costs less than Rex Sage to patrol the board. To say, you know what, opponents? Hey, I can sacrifice this whenever I want to destroy an artifact or enchantment. So if you have a really good artifact or enchantment you're planning on playing, probably don't do that. Again, this literally can just be a deterrent for your opponents even playing their best cards. You put this in play, and opponent's like, well, I was going to play Rhystic Study next turn, but now I'm not going to because I'll just lose it. So yeah, versus Rex Sage, if you get Rex Sage down because you don't have anything else to play, it's like, oh, I wasted the ETB because I had nothing good to take out. How about Wear Down, gift a card? Again, politic, make a deal. Turn an artifact or enchantment. If the gift was promised, destroy 2 instead, basically. Yeah, you know what? All of a sudden, again, you're like, hey, this is the person that I'm upsetting right now by destroying their things. Other player, let's make a deal. I'll give you a card if you do something for me. Cool. Yeah, don't make a deal with the player that you're destroying things on. I mean, maybe, but probably don't. You find a cursed idol. Even this one, I would consider over it in most decks out there. Sorcery Speed. Sure, that's probably downside on this one. The other one as well, but so the last one just got rid of 2 things. That being said, destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, or make a treasure token and venture into the dungeon. Value, being able to temporarily ramp as well, get you ahead of opponents. Can Rex Sage do that? No, it cannot. Unravel the Aether, instant speed, 2 mana. Choose target artifact or enchantment, its owner shuffles it into their library. This is a crazy good card because shuffling the library is basically just gone. It is just gone. Unless that player is like, yeah, I've got so many tutors, I can go back and get it. Sure, they're still wasting a tutor on it, but it's just gone. It's basically the same thing as exiling, essentially, again, for 2 mana. So yeah, it is a card that is, yes, very good. It's a very good card for the right deck out there. It's just being overplayed. It's just some decks out there are like, oh yeah, heck, I need removal. All right, well, Rex Sage is removal. All right, so there you go. Use Rex Sage. Without even really thinking about it and realizing that there's better options out there for your deck, unless you literally are playing an Elf Tribal deck, a Shaman deck, or if you, again, can use and abuse that ETB. Most importantly, again, can you use and abuse that ETB? Do you have blink effects? Do you have Feign Death type effects? If you don't have that, there are better options out there, people. Go pick them up. Moving on, I'm going to go a little bit quicker through this one because, well, I went through a lot of the options that I would consider with it as well. Putrify. I know there's a lot of fans of this card. I think it's overplayed. It sees play in 16% of eligible decks, which I think is way too high. 189,000 decks in total. Instant for 3 mana in Golgari. Destroy target artifact or creature. It can't be regenerated. Now, yeah, it can't be regenerated is nice, but how many times is that applicable? Not very often at all. To be honest, if you're going to be honest with yourself as well, not very often. And when it happens, cool, but it doesn't happen. All right, here's my take on removal. typically there are 2 buckets to removal. These kind of cards like this one kind of like, kind of works in edge case. Typically, when it comes to removal, you've got things that deal with, like, artifacts and enchantments. And then you got other things that deal with creatures. I guess the third bucket's, like, deals with anything. This one kind of blurs the line, but it doesn't do it well enough. It's inefficient at 3 mana to get rid of one thing without being so flexible that can be anything. It's not like Beast Within, all right, where you can't get rid of everything. It's like, okay, I get rid of artifacts or creatures. In my opinion, I would rather have things that deal with creatures separately that are more efficient and things that deal with artifacts and enchantments separately that are more efficient, and you have those options. I just went through so many options that are incredibly efficient and amazing in green. You obviously have access to those in this. And of course, you're in black as well. You got plenty of great ways to get rid of creatures too, okay? Keep that in mind. That being said, this card sees more play than Abrupt Decay, which, yes, Abrupt Decay is a bit more expensive, but still pretty budget friendly at 88 cents. Instant for 2 mana, can't be countered, destroy target non-land permanent, mana value 3 or less. This is more specific. Yes, it is. So I will say that. It is, though, a lot more efficient, and it also can't be countered, okay? How about Tear Asunder, though? Instant for 2 mana in green. It's also got a kicker, though. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If this spell is kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. This is just, in my opinion, strictly better, and yet it sees less play. You are paying 2 mana, and typically when it comes to, like, okay, I need to remove something, artifacts, enchantments, yeah, that's quite a great thing to remove, typically, okay? Instant speed, and again, if you need it, you can kick it to get rid of, again, anything, any non-land permanent, just not, creature or artifact. Yeah, anything, more flexible. How about, though, Mortality Spear? Again, if you're in a life gain deck, yeah, that's a crazy good card. Instant for 4 mana in total, but just costs 2 if you gain life this turn. Destroy any target non-land permanent. Anything. Again, literally just to open things up for an extra mana on top of Putrify. Yeah, that's typically going to be worth it anyways. Oh, no, you lose out on the regeneration. Yeah, that rarely is applicable. Okay, anyways. But yeah, again, if you already life gain strategy, or if your commander can gain you life, you can consistently do it. My goodness, for just 2 mana to get rid of something, that's amazing. How about Soul Shatter? Again, when it comes to trying to just kind of, again, like, make everything work with certain cards, like, okay, like, is it better to get rid of an artifact or creature inefficiently, or have cards that deal with creatures, have cards that deal with, artifacts and enchantments and other things as well, and also have some more expensive cards that deal with anything? I'd rather take, like, the more efficient ways to get rid of creatures. I mean, Soul Shatter is a great one. Instant speed for 3 mana, same cost. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. This is 3 mana, get rid of probably the 3 most problematic creatures on the board, versus, again, Putrify, get rid of 1. And again, like, doesn't take out indestructible creatures either, but this does. Or even, like, a little more mana. Yes, a little more mana, okay? Windgrace's Judgment. Instant for 5 mana, for any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Again, a little more mana, but get rid of 3 things, and again, whatever you need to get rid of. No offense to Putrify, okay? I just think that a lot of players think that it's so flexible. It's a little flexible, but, like, why would I want to be less efficient in dealing with, things when I can be more efficient, okay? I'll utilize better creature removal that is more efficient than this is, and I'll utilize better artifact enchant removal that is more efficient than this is as well, instead of trying to, like, again, hit that nice in-between. That's not going to work out in either way, I don't think, in my opinion. Yeah, the times where you get rid of regenerating creatures, like, oh, it's great. But most of the time, in my opinion, there's better cards out there. There are so many better cards out there than this. Please utilize them. Okay, in a similar way, and I promise again, this one's going to be a bit quicker as well, Mortify. This one sees play in 12% of eligible decks out there, 149,000. Instant for 3 mana, destroy target creature enchantment, and they didn't even say it can't be regenerated. Come on, Wizards. I mean, I know it's not in this, like, color combination, but, like, come on, okay? That being said, again, instead of trying to thread that needle where you're like, okay, it has to be creature and then one other thing for some reason, just use creature removal and then use artifact enchant removal, or utilize something that deals with both better than this. And there are things that are better than this. I mean, how about, like, creature removal? Okay, we just got Unwanted Remake on top of, obviously, all the ones that are, well, better than this, but still very, very good. I mean, like, yeah, Thor's Plowshares, etc., 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 Path to Exile. We got another one. Sure, more efficient. Obviously more efficient. Instant for a single mana. Hey, destroy target creature. They manifest dread. Good for them. They manifest dread. They get, like, a 2/2. Okay, cool. Good for you. I just got rid of your creature at instant speed for 1 mana versus the exact same thing with Mortify for 3. Sure, you got a 2/2, but I don't care. This is Commander. It's a 2/2. I don't care. How about Requisition Rate? Again, flexible for this one. Yes, only sorcery speed for this one, but for the right deck, yeah, much better. Destroy an artifact, destroy enchantment, or put a counter on each creature target player controls, or do all of them. Again, you can destroy an artifact and enchantment for 3 mana, or, yeah, I mean, again, if you just need to get counters on your creatures, do that instead. Keep that in mind, again, for those kinds of decks that want to utilize counters. Cathar Commando. kind of in a way, also destroy a creature enchantment in a way. A 3/1 human soldier with flash for 2 mana, pay 1, sacrifice this creature, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Yeah, here's the thing. You can, like, flash this in and, like, basically lightning bolt a creature when it's attacking you. So do keep that in mind. That is an option. But again, like I mentioned earlier, hey, yeah, if you have, again, something in play like this that can be sacrificed to destroy something, it's just a great deterrent for your opponents not playing certain things in the first place. So yeah, hey, don't play your Smothering Tithe because I have this in play and I will destroy that. So there you go. Fracture. Again, this one's quite solid as well. Just 2 mana, not 3. You can get rid of technically more things as well. Destroy an artifact, enchantment, or even a planeswalker. So again, yeah, I'd rather have this. It's more flexible, and it's just 2 mana instead of 3. And again, that 3 mana is just like, it better be basically destroying anything at 3 mana, or give me multiple things to destroy, or just give me some extra value that I'm not getting from this. Parting Gust. Even this one. Gifted Tap Fish. Who cares about the Tap Fish? I mean, take the Tap Fish. I don't care. Exile target non-token creature if the gift wasn't promised. Bring it back to the battlefield. They counter on it beginning next end step. Basically, hey, do you need to get rid of something? Cool, get rid of it. Do you want to blink one of your own creatures? Cool, blink one of your own creatures. Utilize an ETB, whatever you need to do. Or, like, save something. Rite of Oblivion. Are you in any kind of a deck that has, well, yeah, things you want to sacrifice? Aristocrat style. Sure. 2 mana, yes, it's only sorcery speed, but to be honest again, I would rather use this, even though it's sorcery speed, than, well, yeah, a card that is instant speed for 3 mana that gets rid of specific things like an enchantment and a creature. Exile target non-land permanent gets rid of anything for you. You can also flash it back to do it again. So yes, in my opinion, this is better, even though it's only sorcery speed. Seal of Cleanse, again, yet another way to just, okay, put in play, sacrifice, throw an artifact or enchantment. It keeps players from playing things. Dismantling Wave. For each opponent, disrupt to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. So yes, you can get rid of 3 things for the price. Same price, essentially, easier to cast as well. Yes, only sorcery speed. That being said, you can cycle it away at instant speed. Yes, for 8 mana, but still, hey, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. So this is either, okay, an efficient way to remove things, or, oh, okay, good panic button, remove everything that I need to remove instead. Perhaps my best pick out of all those, my favorite card of all these is Ablation. I love this card, and this scares some players to utilize a card like this, but it shouldn't. Instant for 3 mana. The owner of target non-land permanent shuffles in their library, then draws 2 cards. I would much rather have this than Mortify. Then Putrify as well, of course, but that's a different color combination. The owner of target non-land permanent shuffles in the library, then draws 2 cards. Again, shuffling the library is basically getting rid of it permanently. It is basically the exact same thing. The opponent is not getting that card back. The vast majority of the time, they are not getting it back. Okay? Sure, they draw 2 cards. But yeah, if you're in a desperate enough situation and you need to get rid of literally almost anything in non-land, so not Gaia's Cradle, but like, yeah, you're like, okay, cool, I'll get rid of that giant Eldrazi for just 3 mana, and sure, I give them 2 cards. That being said, this card is also flexible because it can be draw for yourself. If you have, again, a card in play and you're like, oh yeah, it's the token or a card I don't care about too much, whatever it is, you can just, oh, I need to draw some cards. Okay, get rid of that. And this becomes a 3 mana divination instant speed, which I can't remember. We've got a brand new divination that is the exact same thing at instant speed. This is a solid removal spell that sees less play than Mortify somehow, and I don't understand. Ruthless Lawbreaker, another great one as well. 3/2 Vampire Assassin for 3 mana. Relevant creature types. Enters the battlefield and may sacrifice another creature when you do destroy target non-land permanent. Again, can get rid of more things. Yes, there is a cost to it, but there's plenty of decks out there that are fine with that cost. So, again, at the end of the day, I'm not saying Mortify is bad. I'm not saying Putrify are bad. I'm saying that there are more efficient ways to do it. And these just kind of seem like the default that some players go to just to utilize the card without actually even looking into the other removal spells that are out there that can be better for their deck. So please, utilize better cards for your deck. Okay, this is one where I will say is Wizards' fault that this one is so popular. And it shouldn't be that popular, in my opinion. And, yeah, it's definitely not anywhere near staple territory, in my opinion. But this sees play in 15% of all Commander decks. Commander Sphere does. 830,000 decks out there. Yeah, this sees play, even more play, I believe, than Sad Robot, I think it is, right? Sad Robot was 781. So 50,000 more decks are utilizing this. One of the problems is I believe that Wizards includes this in a lot of precons. So there you go. Artifact for 3, tap at 1 mana of any color in the commander's color identity, sacrifice it, draw a card. It is not a bad card. I'm not saying it is bad. I am saying when you utilize a mana rock, it better be efficient. This is not efficient. This is 3 mana, tap for 1. That is not good enough. That is not good enough. I don't care that you can draw a card just by sacrificing it for free. Yes, there are decks out there that can utilize that to great effect. Absolutely. artifact-centric decks that get benefits when you sacrifice things that can get artifacts back out of the graveyard, re-sacrificing it. Absolutely. There are ways to take advantage of that and ways to utilize this appropriately. It is being way overplayed, though. Maybe the most overplayed out of all of these, because literally, again, I would much rather have any mana rock, pretty much any mana rock at 2. That is not just like complete garbage mana rock that like doesn't do anything, but a mana rock at 2. Again, we were talking about Felwarstone, obviously, already sees a lot of play, obviously, but like Prismatic Lens, okay? Artifact for 2, taps for colorless, but you can also filter your mana with it if you need to. Yeah, again, Commander Sphere might be better if you're playing it in a 5-color deck, but you shouldn't be playing it in a 5-color deck because you've got green. So unless you're playing a 4-color deck that does not have green, yeah, maybe you could argue with me about that, but you can still filter your mana with this. And again, this is going to be quicker, but obviously there are better mana rocks at 2. I mean, all the signets, all the talismans, all of those. You can't get to the point where you have enough ramp in the deck most of the time to argue with me that you're like, yeah, this is just very efficient mana rock. No, it's not. It's not efficient. Paying 3 for 1 is not good. You need at least 2, or you need even more value out of this than simply sacrifice, draw a card. And there are ones that have even more value for specific kinds of decks out there. I mean, Etheric Amplifier, a newer card that we just got this year, artifact for 3, tap for 1 of any color, pay 4, tap, choose 1, activate a sorcery, double the number of each kind of counter target permanent, or the number of each kind of counter you have. So, yeah, are you playing a counters-based strategy? Cool, yeah, this is just better. I don't care that you can't freely sacrifice this for a card. It's just strictly better in the impact that it can make in your deck. Or again, if you have an experience counters deck or an energy deck, yes, better. How about Crowded Crypt? This one doesn't tap for all your colors potentially, but again, that's fine for the most part. You have ways to fix your mana, right? You've got plenty of ways to fix your mana, like your other mana rocks that are doing a better job at it, like Felwarstone. Anyways, I mean, efficiently. Artifact for 3, taps for a black. Whenever a creature controlled dies, put a corpse counter on it, pay 4, tap, 4 black, and tap, I should say. Sacrifice it, make a 2/2 zombie with decayed for each corpse counter on it. This is basically a potential win condition on a card. Essentially, that is just a mana rock that taps for 1. It's the exact same efficiency, but actually it can win you the game. Or it can just like give you an absurd amount of value as well. Cursed Mirror, again, just taps for a red, cost 3. As it enters the battlefield, have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until on a turn accepted as haste. Literally just, okay, temporary clone, swing in with a massive creature potentially that's like one of my opponent's best creatures, or utilize again an activated ability from one of those, or copy one of my own creatures. Maybe like my commander has a death trigger. Awesome. It can become that and just die so I can get the trigger. Cool. Coalition Relic, one that taps more efficiently. Artifact for 3, taps for mana color, or you can tap, put a charge counter on it and basically store that mana up. Because at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you can move all charge counters from it. Add 1 of any color for each charge counter, move this way. So essentially, at the very least, like next turn, you're like, okay, I tap this for 2, essentially. Great. That's much more efficient than cost 3, taps for 1. Also, if you get proliferate effects, you can get even more counters on this. Decanter of Endless Water. Artifact for 3, technically taps better at 1 mana of any color. So unless you're utilizing, again, Commander Sphere in a 5-color deck, which you shouldn't be, then this taps for all colors, whereas Commander Sphere does not. You have maximum hand size. That, in my opinion, is much more valuable than, hey, sacrifice, draw 1 card. There you go. Heraldic Banner. Enter, choose a color. Taps for that mana. So again, yes, this is only like, okay, I can tap for whatever color I need at that time, versus like whatever my colors are. That being said, it's going to get you there. And also, it pumps your creatures. Just an Anthem on an artifact, an Anthem on a mana rock, +1/+0. So yeah, this is much better for go wide strategies as well. Hourglass of the Lost. Artifact for 3, tap for a white, put a time counter on it, tap, remove X time counters from it, and exile it. Return each non-land permanent card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate a sorcery. Yeah, again, you're building up value with this, and eventually this is a game-ending play for you. It can go even quicker, too, if you've got ways like, proliferate to get more counters on it as well, or like untap and do it again. Vial of Gladriel, Ledger Artifact for 3, taps for 1 of any color. Again, already taps for more for you, and can actually draw you more cards than Commander Sphere. If you draw a card, we have no cards in hand, draw 2 instead. So yeah, if you have no cards in hand, dig down further into your deck. On top of that, if you would gain life, we have 5 or less life, you gain twice the much life as well. Skyclave Relic, oh my gosh, so much better. Artifact for 3, kicker 3, indestructible. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kick, create 2 tap tokens that are copies of it, tap for 1 mana color. For the vast majority of decks out there, I will argue with you until the day that I stop playing Commander, essentially, and then I'll stop arguing with you, that this is just strictly better than Commander Sphere, okay? I would much rather have this be my ramp that can also be a flexible version of ramp, essentially, where it's like, okay, yeah, it's going to stay in play, and I can get, basically, sure, 3 for 1, that's not great, but it's indestructible, or 6 for 3 mana, ramping so much more efficiently, instead of just, I can sacrifice it and draw 1 card. The Celestus, in my opinion, even better, too, than Commander Sphere. It's neither day nor night, comes day comes the battlefield, cool, good for that. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, pay 3, tap, night, day, switch it, cool. All right, anyways, whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain 1 life, you draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Not card advantage, but card selection and repeat card selection throughout the game for free. This just happens where day becomes night and it comes day. It just happens. Or you can pay to actually do it if you need to. Victory chimes. If you don't care about the specific kind of mana, yeah, much better. During each opponent's turn, this is going to untap as well on their untap step. And this tap, and a player of your choice adds colors. I mean, technically, it come in handy to actually be able to give it to, like, an opponent, potentially, but more so just like, I reduce the cost of all my spells by 1 a turn, basically is what this is. It's pretty incredible for that. Wand of the World Soul. All right, enters tapped. Okay, it is slower, sure. It taps for a white, but it can also tap in the next spell you cast this turn as Convoke. Are you in a creature-based strategy? Oh, cool. A go-wide strategy? Oh, cool. Yeah, much better. Gives you basically a lot more mana than Commander Sphere does. Again, a card that, in my opinion, people just like, auto-include. Like, yeah, okay, mana rocks, I need to ramp. All right, use this. Cool, yeah, it's card draw too. Some players just literally like, okay, this counts for both. No, it doesn't. It does not. Pick a lane. Pick efficient mana rock or pick card draw. Don't say this does both. It doesn't do both efficiently at all. Pick a lane and pick better cards, okay? There's better cards for your deck out there. I know there are, and Commander Sphere is not the answer, and it's probably not your fault if you have it in your deck because it's probably a pre-con that Wizards gave you and was like, here's this, it says Commander on it. It's good, right? No, it's not a good card. It's good for specific decks, but it's not good for every deck. Time to shift gears ever so quickly. This one actually is kind of a reference to another one of my episodes of 5 deck building mistakes, so make sure you check that episode out, but yeah, Land of War Elves, I'm very sorry. You got those 2 knives, you look very scary, but yeah, you are being way overplayed right now. 558,000 decks, over 500,000 decks according to HREC. 21% of eligible decks out there utilize this card. It is a great card, just not for all the decks that are utilizing it. A 1/1 Elf Druid for a single green mana, tap for a green, this, Elvish Mystic, etc., etc. Low to the ground mana dorks, yes, have their place in Commander. They definitely do. Especially, again, if you've got an Elf deck or a Druid deck, or again, like I can utilize mana dorks in an interesting way. I get extra mana from them, or I have extra untap effects. I can take advantage of them. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things to do with that. It's just that this is just like it's hyper efficient mana. I should utilize it. Oh, the most competitive decks out there utilize it, so I should utilize it too. Wrong. Just because a CEDH deck utilizes something. And yeah, Land of War Elves and, low to the ground mana dorks are great when it comes to higher power levels. Does not mean it's better in casual. It is not. In fact, it is worse in casual because in CEDH, in the top level of Commander, well, in all honesty, a lot less board wipes are played because it's typically quicker and typically more targeted removal and typically counterspells versus, Wrath of God. Yeah, that might be too slow in a CEDH game. So this card, yes, is very powerful. It's also incredibly susceptible to removal. Again, when I talk about, like, what you should be doing when it comes to ramping, typically, right, it is land ramp, which I talked about earlier. And yeah, I said sad robot, not that, though. You gotta have efficient ramp. When it comes to that, yes, Land of Rose is incredibly efficient. It's just also much more susceptible to removal. Again, if you use all these mana dorks and that's your ramp package, cool, good for you. You might get ahead early, but as soon as one Wrath happens, you are set back to the Stone Age and everyone else is ahead of you because everyone else is like, oh yeah, rampant growth. Cool. Got there. Yeah. Again, when it comes to, what you should be using, rampant growth. All those types of cards, essentially. Also, Edge of Autumn. My goodness, play this card, please. Please stop being scared of this card. It's an amazing card. Sorcery 2 mana in green. If you control 4 or fewer lands, go basically do the rampant growth thing. If not, you can cycle away by sacrificing a land. So this is a card that, sure, there might be a feel-bad moment at some point where you're like, well, I really want to ramp and I've got 5 lands. If you got 5 lands, you probably already have enough lands for your plan, typically. And of course, later on, obviously, turn 5, turn 6, you're not like, my goodness, I'm so excited to cast my rampant growth. No, not usually. And later on in the game, again, when drawing a rampant growth would just be a dead card, like, I need to heart of the card, save myself. All right, draw a card. Oh, rampant growth. Okay, yeah, that doesn't save me. You can actually cycle this away by sacrificing a land to replace it. So again, land ramp is more protected. It is more protected. I mean, even Wayfarer's Bauble, utilize this, okay? Utilize this over Land of Elves in the vast majority of decks that utilize Land of Elves incorrectly, all right? Utilize Wayfarer's Bauble because it's still getting you a land in a play tapped versus a susceptible mana dork. Again, there is a place for mana dorks, okay? There is a place for Land of Elves. Elf decks. Again, decks that can use and abuse mana dorks in certain ways. Get extra mana out of them. Untap them extra times. But not just because it's in a CEDH deck means that equals powerful and casual, okay? It's more susceptible to removal, so do keep that in mind. So again, like, literally keep in mind, again, Edge of Autumn, all of the 2 mana, okay, I go get a land, Rampant Growth, basically, cards, yeah, consider those. Even like a card like Fertile Ground, even though it technically is more susceptible to a double removal in a way, Enchant Land, Aura for 2 mana in green, Enchanted Land is tapped for mana, its controller adds additional 1 mana of any color. Yeah, I've played this card plenty of times. I have never had someone, except for in my one deck where I build up an absurd amount of auras on lands, I've never had someone remove that land, ever. I've never had a land that is disenchanted to be removed. It's kind of a jerk move in Casual Commander. It just kind of is to, like, you know, take away someone's land. So there you go. Even if it's enchanted. So, again, being an enchantment, still technically more protected than a mana dork, which is very easily removed by, again, Wrath of God board wipe. It's gone. Oh no. Oh darn. Grow from the Ashes. Again, even a slightly less efficient ramp spell. Again, 3 mana, go get a basic land untapped. But as a kicker, where you can pay 2 extra, and if you do, 5 mana, get 2 basics and play untapped. Even something like this, I would play over Land of Elves. Yes, it is slower. I understand that. It's basically rampant growth pricing, though, essentially paying 2 overall, getting that land into play where you can actually still utilize it. It's also flexible for later. That being said, yes, Land of Elves does have a place in Commander. I'm not trying to say it doesn't have a place in Casual Commander. It's just that it's overplayed, and players should not be depending on mana dorks for their only source of mana advantage, essentially, because when you do that, when you go so far into mana dorks, and you're like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm way ahead of everyone, super quick, yay! And then a Wrath happens, you're going to pay for it, and then you're going to be miserable because all the other players who actually ramped the proper way with lands, outside of Sad Robot, you know, the discussions earlier, yeah, are going to be happier than you are. Finally, my goodness, Temple of the False God. Yet another card where it's like, Wizards, stop it. Just stop it. Stop putting this in pre-con decks. Just stop it. This card has a place in Commander as well. That being said, it's in incredibly specific decks is where the place for this one is. Incredibly specific. I'm talking incredibly specific. This is being seen play right now in 10% of all decks. Over 549,000 decks utilize this card. And I'm here to tell you, no, please don't at all. Literally, you can go get a card for free from your LGS that is better than this in the vast majority of decks this is being used in. It's a land that is Temple of False God. Taps for 2 colors. Cool. Good for you. Activate only if you control 5 more lands. Oh yeah. There's the massive downside that some players are like, it's fine. It's basically a ramp spell. No, it's not. This is a card where you keep it in your opening hand and you're like, wow, once I get to here, it's going to be great. Oh no, I never got to 5 lands. Yeah, no. This card is good for the correct decks out there. Again, decks that have an absurd amount of lands can get so many lands in play. Decks that are literally 100% lands, and you're guaranteed to get them in play, like Child of Alara, exploding, space monster thing, destroys all the things, and you just play all the lands, that deck. Make sure you check out the 99 lands deck. Anyways, for those kinds of decks out there, they can either guarantee literally 100% of the time you're always going to have lands for this, or just have so many lands in the deck that it's absurd, and yeah, you can go get this when you need to get it into play, and it taps for 2, and great, good for you. That being said, the vast majority of the time, here are 5 lands that are cheaper than this, that are better than it in the vast majority of circumstances. And again, you literally can probably get them for free at your LGS if you just ask, hey, can I have a forest, please? Okay, thank you. Can I have an island? Okay. Can I have a mountain? Can I have a plains? Can I have a swamp? These cards, these basic lands, are literally just better than Temple of the False God in the vast majority of decks that this card sees play in. They just are. They're simple, and they're fine, and they're great, and they always tap for a mana, and 1 mana of your colors as well. If you're in a colorless deck, yeah, you can fudge it a little bit, but still, you're still going to want to make sure that you're in a deck that can guarantee that you're going to get enough lands out as well. It's not just strictly better than a waste. It is not strictly better than a waste. Also, a card like, sure, let's compare it to Crystal Vein. Yeah, I use the gold bird version because I want to because it's less than $2. It's awesome. Use it. Anyways, cool. Technically illegal in Commander, but not really. No one's ever going to tell you can't play with this card. And if they do, they shouldn't be playing Commander because they're no fun. All right, land that can tap for a colorless mana and tap sacrifice, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. This one literally does the exact same thing, essentially. I mean, it taps for 1 mana all the time, which is much better. And when you need that extra burst of mana, you got it. You can utilize it. You can utilize this right away. You can utilize it early if you need to. The other one can't. Sure, like eventually it's going to be better for the other one because you always get the 2, but it's later in the game. You also need to not have it be a dead land in play for you early on for you to actually do anything. It's just, my goodness. Some players are like, yeah, this is a ramp spell, but it's not a ramp spell. It is a conditional card that can be very, very, very bad for you. And that you might, again, keep it in opening hand where you should be keeping it. And you're like, well, I've got 3 lands. One of those doesn't do anything. It doesn't. I mean, Blighted Woodland sees less play. Again, even in contextually, even in green, it sees less play. Utilize it. Crows and Verge. Go utilize this card. I guess I should have said what Blighted Woodland does. Test for colors. Pay 4, tap, sacrifice, go get 2 basic lands on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. This one actually ramps you. This one actually ramps you when you need to, and it taps for a mana when you need to as well. Crows and Verge also actively ramps you as well. This one into battlefield, tap, taps for a colorless, pay 2, tap, sacrifice it, go get a Forest Today Plains. Awesome, amazing, great. Even Majoring Network. Yeah, this card I would play over Temple of the False God in the vast majority of decks that Temple of the False God sees play in. Tap for a colorless, pay 1, tap on a storage counter on it, tap, remove X storage counter from it, add extra mana pool. Literally, it kind of can build up that storage of mana that you can utilize. It also works with Putrify effects. It just automatically always taps for a colorless, which is a low bar for a land, and Temple of the False God does not meet that bar. Even an MDFC like Tangled Florahedron, sure, there you go. It's a mana dork that can tap for 1, and the backside's a slower land, but again, it's a land that taps for a mana when you need it to. Temple of the False God, again, this is mostly Wizards' fault. Pretty much all of Wizards' fault, because Wizards, like, for a long time, put this in a lot of Commander precons, and still puts them in Commander precons. Please, if you have this card in your deck, and it's not, you didn't like add it yourself, you didn't like go like, oh, okay, yeah, like this makes sense in the deck, like I'm running like 50 lands, I've got an all lands deck, I've got a deck that can guarantee that I'm going to get this out and be able to tap right away, or I've got some other thing that can benefit from it. Yeah, if you've got a deck like that, great, good for you, keep it in. If not, please, go replace this with a basic, just something else, because this is the kind of card that, again, is going to be such a feel bad when it's like, oh yeah, I kept this hand because I thought I'd get to there, and I'm stuck at 4 lands. And this is in play, not tapping for anything. So I literally have 3 mana, I can do nothing, and this game is not fun. I'm literally just sitting here doing nothing. All right, let's draw the next card. Oh, not a land, didn't do it again. Next turn, oh, not a land, don't do it again. Please stop playing this card unless the deck actually works with this card. It is a trap card. It is literally a trap card. Please. Okay, so again, on this episode, I've gone through a couple of different cards, and this is probably the one where I'm like, yeah, most notably, it's way overplayed. Okay, wrapping things up. These cards are not bad. I am not trying to say that they are bad. I am trying to say that out of all the staples out there, this makes these make the least sense of staples. Does that make sense? They literally are cards that some players just kind of auto-include in decks that should not be auto-included with them. They are cards that keep getting inflated in the amount of decks that they're in, because literally if you go look at like the EDH rec page of like the top 100 cards and they're like, well, that must be a really good card, I must use it. Or again, you see a competitive list and it's got Land of Realms and you're like, oh wow, it's so good. Make sure, again, just check your deck, okay? If you've got Solemn Simulacrum in there, do you have ways to utilize the ETB more than once? Do you have ways to utilize the Death Trigger more than once? Or like double it up like a Tesa? Do you have ways that interact with it being an artifact? Do you have ways that care about being an artifact creature? If the answer is no, then what are you using it for? You've got more efficient, even cheaper options out there, essentially. Like Mana Rocks, or again, if you're in green, obviously like literally any kind of ramp, essentially. So that, and again, Reclamation Sage, again, like, do you have a way to use its ETB? No. If you don't, then don't utilize it unless you're like an elf-specific deck or a shaman-specific deck. Same thing with the Turtle Witness. Can you use its ETB more than once? If you can't, don't utilize it. You know, human deck, sure. Shaman deck, sure. But like, unless you really care about having like all creatures in your deck or something, there's better cards out there. Putrify, again, I'm very sorry for Putrify fans out there, Mortify fans out there. there's better removal. And yes, I know these are very budget friendly. They absolutely are. But I showed off a lot of budget friendly options instead that either can get rid of even more things or, again, like just changes the perspective on things you're getting rid of. Artifacts and enchantments instead of creatures or enchantments, and then just split off with your other removal spells to do like creatures as well. So you need to be able to, again, utilize the more efficient ways. Getting rid of a creature or enchantment with these cards, not that efficient. Getting rid of an artifact or a creature is not that efficient with this. And yes, I know, it can't be regenerated. Cool, that comes into play like once out of every 500 times this card is played, all right? Commander Sphere, just no. In the vast majority of decks out there that are utilizing it. Again, not your fault if you have it in your pre-con deck and you never took it out or whatever, okay? I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm saying that there are better options out there that are also budget-friendly too and are more efficient. Temple of the False God, again, the vast majority of decks out there that utilize this card, it shouldn't be in. Again, it just can be a dead card, a card that literally ruins your entire round because you have that hand. You're like, oh, wow, I'm at 4 lands. There's no way I'm not going to get a land. I'm stuck. Oh, no. Again, it's a card that is really good when it works. It's also detrimental and literally game-ending for you when it doesn't. I'd rather have a basic than this almost all the time. Land of Elves, again, great for competitive environments. Great for elf-centric decks, great for ways, that you can use and abuse, mana dorks and tapping for more, etc., etc., etc. If you don't have those ways, well, you should probably be utilizing safer ramp like Rampant Growth instead, okay? So do keep that in mind. And again, keep in mind that if you're looking for any of the cards I talked about in today's episode, went through a lot of exciting replacements for these cards, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support.